What drug did you take once and thought nope, never again? Crack, it was too good. I get the hype. OxyContin, sit was too relaxing and didn't last long. I had knee surgery and they gave it to me for the pain. I took it for a week and when I wasn't on it I really wanted more. After a week of it I never wanted to touch that sit again. Salvia. It's a very short trip but I felt so much physical discomfort like my whole body was being shoved into a box despite the fact that I was sitting in the grass with a group of friends. Apparently it's not an uncommon side effect of the drug. Not a drug. But I was told I needed to take a fiber supplement. And went with the fiber pills. Then I went to the emergency room because I felt like I couldn't breathe within a few minutes of taking them. Fiber pills swell up easily with water. So they can end up feeling like they are sealing your throat. I now take fiber gummies. And actually enjoy having a little treat every day. Topiramate. Topamax. A drug used to treat migraines and seizure disorders. I started developing a couple of the less common side effects, including facial numbness, tingling, visual disturbances, and most concerning to me, aphasia. The scariest thing about the aphasia is that it can be permanent. Sorry, but I'll deal with the headaches, which weren't even migraines, just a stress phase one was going through, and keep my words. Thanks. For me, meth. I did it once under the presumption that it was cocaine. It was not. I had to go to the hospital. I mean, I probably didn't have to. But at the time, I had only smoked weed. I didn't know how to deal with the increased heart rate and paranoia. For my friend, diphenhydramine aka Benadryl. He is a really hardcore tripper, and can handle inhuman amounts of psychedelic substances. But he said that the one drug he would never do again was Benadryl. He said that his experience had lots of spiders. Ambien. Woke up in my underwear on my neighbor's porch. For me it was coke. I'm a broke breach, so after spending $80 for maybe an hour's worth of a high I very quickly learned why it's called blow. You can blow through it and all your cash in a few days tops. Glad I got off that sick quick. Woulda ruined me. Muscle relaxants. Worst cramps I've ever had when the drug stops working, and you realize you have cramping muscles at the soles of your feet and between all your bones. Tetracycline. Turns out I'm allergic. Heroin. Too good. Knew it'd get its claws in me if I did it a second time. Meth. Did some once thinking it was coke. Spent 2 days strung out and thorny as hell. Never again. Percocet. It was in liquid form. I can totally see how people get addicted to that stuff. It's like a few minutes later the world turns into a beautiful place and your problems disappear. Benadryl. Took around 700 to 800 milligrams. Like 25 or 30 pills. A while ago to trip. Not a good recreational drug. It's like how people who don't do drugs imagine acid to be like. I'd actually vividly see things and people that weren't there. I'd see people come in the room I was in and sit next to me on the couch and I'd start having a conversation with them, only to blink and have them disappear. I'd get up and start filling up a cup of water and bam I'd be back on the couch, never having gotten up. I don't remember most of the night but my friends said I was just in a complete different world. They had some funny stories from it though apparently at one point I pulled my pants down and just said, "Ants in my pants." The two thing I've taken from this thread is that salvia is the worst drug out there, and that realizing you want more of a drug is instantly the reason to never do it again. My dad gave me a Dilaudid he had left over from his hip surgery because I had a sore neck. I felt an almost overwhelming sense of euphoria. I knew I could never take another one. Meth. I've taken prescription Adderall nearly my whole life and I wanted to test all these people who told me, "You're just taking prescription meth." To say the least I don't do either of them anymore. Salvia no doubt. Xanax. Took a bar at a friend's house. All I remember was watching Game of Thrones at a friend's house, then next thing I know I'm at my apt and it's a day later. Wasn't a bad experience for anything, it was just alright and felt like a waste of time. Plenty of better drugs out there. Heroin. It was just too good. That fake weed stuff that was around a little while back. Thought I was going to die. So hot. My sister found me naked passed out in the bathroom with my face against the bottom of the toilet. This really bothered me. I am not a germaphobe but rather germ aware. I didn't take it intentionally. It was added to my weed without my knowledge. FKN angel dust. I overdosed on that sit. Most of them. Other than high-grade pot. Most give me a dissociative feeling that I hate. Even prescribed painkillers. I stay on them for as short of a time as I can stand. I was given fentanyl in a hospital setting for a lung procedure. They make you black out and go into your lung. I never had a bad experience, but I can see why people get addicted to it. I was euphoric and somebody let me go shopping. I bought all these blue dress shirts that didn't fit, like hundreds of dollars worth. I felt like I was on cloud 9 for hours. Did acid once. Was on edge and slightly uncomfortable most of the time, but it was still overall enjoyable. Then a friend who was also tripping with us started to have a bad trip and it was really difficult to not lose it. Myself. Felt like I was very close to losing control. Thankfully everything ended up fine, but there's no way I'm doing it again unless I have access to Xanax. Kills a trip in 20 to 30 minutes. Edibles. Took too many gummies to calm me down before getting a tattoo. They didn't know I had taken them, of course, so when I went gray after not really breathing effectively for a few minutes, all I heard was, "Breath, ma'am. We're going to give you something." I thought they were going to Narcan me, so I spoke up. They gave me orange-flavored glucose tablets instead, which I must say is a 10 out of 10 snack when you're toasted. LSD. It's an incredible drug for many people, but unfortunately, I had a bad time. Some parts, however, were very fun and memorable. However, due to the amount of anxiety I felt, there's no way I'm dropping acid ever again. To quote Alan Watts, "When you get the message, hang up the phone." Meth. Made the mistake of looking in a mirror. Tried to pull my teeth out. Acid. Only tried it once and I was basically trapped in my own head for almost 10 hours. I tried to let my friend know something was wrong but couldn't speak. It was absolutely terrifying. I'm done with mushrooms too. My first 2 trips were absolutely incredible. Lots of fun. But ever since then I get violently sick when I eat them. The last time I was coughing and dry heaving so much I started spitting up blood. Tripping's just not for me. Nutmeg. I laughed hysterically for 8 hours, then had 8 hours of intense gas pain. So 50% bad. But that 50 was so bad. Quercetin. It's a cough medicine for people with heart issues that comes in little red tablets. Also called Red Devils. My boyfriend at the time enjoyed robo-frying with it, and one evening I decided to give it a try. I found out that evening that my lifelong aversion to cough syrups is actually an allergy. And I spent the next 8 to 10 hours vomiting and hallucinating in my best friend's bubblegum pink room. Never again. For anyone curious, every time I've taken any kind of cough syrup, I unfortunately have that same stomach reaction. When visiting some of my husband's family for the first time, I came down with a head cold and in desperation took a dose of the yellow stuff. I was then sick with a head cold and vomiting for the entire day. PCP many years ago. Never again. Never again was all I could think. Honestly. Propylhexedrine inhaler. It's a menthol inhaler you gotta eat insides of. The drug is like dirty MDMA. But it's legal to buy an inhaler, since most folks would eat cotton soaked in menthol oil. Salvia was frocking terror. Peyote. Only bad trip I ever had. I felt like I had ingested something that wasn't meant for me. Being a white guy, kept seeing people hiding just out of sight. When I would turn to look at them, they would duck back around a corner or couch. See people crawling through windows out of the corner of my eye. I felt like Native American spirits were there to frock with me and punish me for eating their sacred plant. Felt wrong the whole time. Never had any issues with any other psychedelic, even under the most stressful situations. But for some reason peyote got me all wrong. DXM. The active ingredient in cough syrup gel caps. Teeth grinding. Eyes wide as can be. Anxiety, paranoia. Skin crawling feeling. No sleep for 48 plus hours. It's around a 4 to 6 hour. I'm kind of enjoying this but not really. High followed by more than a day of a terrible come down. Even after I slept I didn't feel well for the following week. Never again. Wouldn't you like to know? Police boy. Effexor. Got frocked up on salvia once. Oxycodone. It was like experiencing input lag in real life. Extremely frustrating. Can someone make a chart representing the top answers? R. Data is beautiful. My mom and I shared an edible. It was way too strong. I puked and never ate another one again. I know it's supposed to be one, but I have two. Salvia divinorum. That was like a taste of insanity, and I briefly thought I was trapped in an alternate dimension. Never to return home. It was a hell of an experience, but for my mental health, never again. The other is ketamine. That party got way too weird. We'll never have a full accounting of what happened, but indoor urinating featured. An entire package of Dramamine on my way to high school. At some point I could neither read nor understand what anyone was saying. It was like Charlie Brown's Teacher, where people were saying things but I couldn't understand the words and it was just noises. I snuck out between classes and walked home. Luckily it's a walk I did every day, so I managed to get home okay, and I was a latchkey kid, so my mom didn't get home until I was pretty much sobered up. Weed. Turns out I'm allergic. Vicodin. I was given a prescription when I had salivary gland infection. I have never been so sick in my life. Would not stop throwing up. Ended up in the ER. Will not take again. I took mescaline a total of 3 times. The first 2 times I took it, I took a half hit and then another half hit after an hour while everyone else took 2 hits right away and was trippin' balls. I wanted it to enhance my experience, not be the experience. My 3rd time, I took a full hit right away and was laughing at everything the next 2 hours. I decided never again because it was too good. I wanted more, and knew that was the red flag to never take it again. Mushrooms. I thought I threw up a lung. In excess. Alcohol. No question. I'm a recovering alcoholic by the way. I've done lots of other drugs. LSD, shrooms, ecstasy, meth, coke, etc. But dear God, nothing is worse than puking your brains out. Your world spinning endlessly. You're sweating and shaking and boiling over with anxiety and self-hatred and fear. And just feel like complete death. Alcohol is by far the worst drug when abused to excess. I tried cocaine in high school against my better judgment. It's addictive, you know. Anyway, when I was on it I felt 10 feet tall and I was super confident. Everything I thought I wanted to feel about myself. Then I came down and was looking for a gun so I could kill myself because I felt so horrible. Worst feeling ever. The worst drug I've ever done is, weirdly enough, pot. Every time I've done it I've ended up having panic attacks and freaking out. Antidepressants. Yo. I've done weed, shrooms, LSD, and salvia. Loved them all for different reasons, but there's one that separates itself from the group. Spice. If you want to feel like you're having a heart attack and panic attack at the same time, this can make it happen. It is frocking horrible. Stay frocking away. Modafinil. Doctor said I was the first person to complain about mood swings and suicidal thoughts. I typically don't have those.